welcome to another video tutorial with Marklinofsweden. I was just browsing internet the other day looking for a era 1 or possibly era 2 type wood platform because I want to scratch build one of those for my harbor area here behind me. And I found this. I mean, oh my god, who came up with this woodwork? This is an older type platform for, you know, the steam trains and early 19s. It's just amazing. I just have to build one of these. So let's get to it.
I'm starting off by measuring the area where I will have the platform. This one needs to be about 700 millimeters long and about 32 millimeters wide. The platform surface will be made from a pre-engraved wood sheet from northeastern scale lumber. I'm making the vertical and the diagonal beams from a 1.5 millimeter thick balsa sheet, whilst the horizontal beam is a 2 millimeter thick balsa sheet. It looks in the picture like the first beam should be about from foot to knee, which means about 5 millimeter. I use a figure to check that. I keep that with me, so I am sticking to the dimensions that look correct according to the photo. Here is the 1.5 millimeter sliced balsa in 5 millimeter width. This is the pre-engraved surface and this is the horizontal beams. Now, looking at this fella standing here, the spacing between the vertical beams corresponds to the height from his hip down to his foot. Looking at the fella here, it should correspond to about 1 centimeter. So I'm marking the position of the first layer of beams on the rear side of the surface. Now, before we're gluing anything, I want to weather this. This also helps because it's different type of wood in this pre-engraved sheet and the balsa, so gives a kind of more uniform color tone to all of the woodwork. I'm fixing 2 steel scales using a clamp. This is to get precision into the cutting in the length and also to get speed up. For most of my assembly with wood, I use a soft wooden board covered with a food wrapper type plastic foil. This is glued onto a hard type of wood so it doesn't skew or warp. I glue everything with a PVA glue because it has a nice setting time, so I have time to work and get everything in line and straight. I put some glue on my finger, and from the finger I apply the glue onto the joint of the 2 pieces of sheet. I fix it with needles onto this assembly board. I leave that to dry, and once it's drying, during the drying, I am also assembling now the first layer of beams. Now all of the beams are in place, 70 pieces to be exact. Time for the next layer. This is the horizontal beam made from the 2 millimeter balsa sheet. I put glue on the entire strip and I smoothen that out with a finger like this. And then I put it in place and fix with needles. This is what it looks like when it's in place. Once dry, I'm trimming the edges of the beams against the edge of a table to get that really square and uniform look overall. With that done, I fix this ready-made part onto my assembly board using a carpenter square, and time for some more cutting. Now we're cutting the straight vertical beams. For my platform I need 70 pieces of those 2. So I'm dipping them into one end in the glue and I fix them with a tweezer in place. Now the glue is very soft and not cure, so it gives you time to get them perfectly straight and in the right position. So I like this PVA glue. It's really good. It's much better than using that fast set glue, which gives you no time to adjust and everything sticks and gets shiny. PVA, that is the thing to go. This is what it looks like when all in place, all 70 vertical beams. Now it's time for the diagonal beams. I'm starting off by testing out the right angle, and then I cut them all in that angle so I don't have to sand them afterwards. And I fix them with the tweezer in the same way as I did with the vertical beams. I cut the vertical beams which is supporting the platform on the rear side from the same type of pre-engraved wood as the surface of the platform. This was kind of convenient because I had a piece over from the platform, and we need 70 pieces of those as well. Now I'm having 3 station signs, and I was thinking to make those beams a bit taller than the rest, so actually I make 64 and then 6 beams a bit taller. I start this assembly by fixing the outermost vertical beams with fast set glue so the platform can stand in place on the table. With those in place, I assemble all of the beams using PVA glue. I adjust them, and then I attach the railings as well using PVA glue to make sure that everything's straight before it all dries properly. I measure the railings, the height of the railing, before I continue with the lower railing. When the glue for the railings and the beams have dried properly, I trim off the edges in an angle like this. The station sign is cut from a 0.4 mm thick plywood. This is typically found in the aero modeling part of your shop, not with the model railroading stuff. And the sign is attached with PVA glue as well. Alright, now there's just one thing remaining, and that is the stair, which will assist our small figures to get up on the platform. I cut the stair from same type of pre-engraved sheet of wood from Northeastern Scale Lumber, and the base material is 1.5 mm balsa. And with the stair in place, we're done with the assembly. Now time for some weathering. I'm using a grey wash, which I use for outside wood. So I start with a layer of that over the entire structure. Then I have some crayons. This is dry acrylic crayons. This is an old habit I have. A dry acrylic powder can be bought in the shop ready grinded nowadays, so that is definitely a good alternative to these crayons. I dissolve the powder and smear it out on the wood surface using isopropanol, which is an alcohol. With that in place, I move over to black. So I have the same routine for the black. First, powder on randomly, spotty, and then smear it out with alcohol wash. And we're at final result. So this is what it looks like when assembled in place on the layout.
Alright, I hope you liked the tutorial. If you did, please help me by giving it a thumbs up. If you want to stay tuned and see the videos as they come online here on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel and you will get a notification once a new video goes live. Until that happens, see ya!